Many things can be taken out of context. I was just reading about jealousy and stuff. I think it's funny how they ended up putting stuff in there, saying fear that somebody could be cheating on me. I caught him cheating on me so many times, it was incredible. I guess that what I'm saying is when I think about stuff, that's part of the reason why I don't care if somebody might say that I'm paranoid. It's just like look at the reality. I mean, uh, uh, if he wasn't cheating on me, then why did I see so and so leave before I was expected to be back? My point being is sometimes things are written in a way that but basically don't let things that are written in such a manner be a form that it makes you second guess what you had first hand knowledge of. Uh, it's just like when realizing what somebody's true character is, and realize that they use their position to harm people, and that they and and that instead of choosing to prosecute a rapist, that they're choosing to protect a rapist. Not that there's anything wrong with wanting a rapist to be locked up. I mean, when the more that I delved into the stuff and saw what the ones in public office are doing, the more it just made me sick to my stomach. One example is not doing what's called processing rape kits. Another is putting a statute of limitations on rape. Another is ordering a woman that was raped to marry the rapist. I mean, just some of the stuff that they come up with. It's like, who's who's the whack job, if you know what I mean? It's just like one of them telling me that there was a government meeting going on, and then right as I went to open the door up, as I was walking up the steps, and somebody else walks out and just acts stupid about letting the door slam in my face in order to intentionally keep me out of a government meeting. Oh, but that was real funny to one of them in public office. I mean, it's just that's that is also the reason why I think that they've taken away, but basically the PEG funding, public education government funding, and the reason why one of them was busy telling me what I had to say and has refused to give me my part uh, of the public funding, and didn't disclose that he was a real estate agent, and didn't tell me what he was actually doing, just acting stupid. There's something about the word entitlement, just like feeling entitled to lie, feeling entitled to deceive, feeling entitled to take unfair advantage of, feeling entitled to j- j- what, he also lied to me about me breaking part of a was it a microphone or something? I'm like, it's like I think I would have remembered uh, hearing a crunching sound if I'd actually broken the part. I think I would have felt something under my foot. Also, some of the ones that do the harm say do what are called kind of like half truths, and that's like saying, "Oh, it'll be good," but not disclose it. It's only good for them, and it was, and that's who they were talking about. I could go into example after example after example. Don't feel guilty about leaving a very toxic situation. But basically, whoever was toxic didn't sit there and go, I'm going to be very toxic and damaging and as harmful as possible. And I intend to destroy your life. And I don't have any remorse for what I'm doing. That basically, when somebody basically exhibits those sorts of behaviors, it, there's no need to talk to them. Basically, and also there's a good book that was written called Walking on Eggshells. So some of the books that are out there also have different workbooks to them, and I want to bring that up because many times when people go to a so-called mental health professional and they don't feel like they're getting anywhere, they're probably not getting anywhere, if that makes sense. And I've seen too many times where some of the ones that have gone into mental health were part of the problem. I could go into different examples, but it just one of the ones that is one of them that has acted stupid and laughed at me and didn't give a shit if I had tears streaming down my eyes. I mean, that painting, Schadenfreude. I forgot how to spell it. S-C-H-L-E. S-C... Schadenfreude, I think, might be a German word, but just look at the painting and look at the monks on the left-hand side of the painting, just laughing at the man in the middle. I mean, what a sick world that they would think it was funny to laugh at a man who obviously needed help with his donkey. And they just kind of like derive some sort of pleasure out of him being miserable. My point is, who is the one with the real problem? An example of a sin of omission is somebody tell me to go where his wife works, and his wife is nowhere to be found. And then he later tells me his wife is an accountant at the place, and he didn't disclose what he and his wife were actually up to. Another example is somebody that says, used to be a stockbroker at Smith Barney, and don't disclose that they're still a stockbroker. Who is the one with the real problem? Who is the one with the real problem? The one that laughs about having rotten fruits and thinks that sort of behavior is funny. I mean, just think about it. Who would sit there and go, "Oh, when I grow up, I want to have rotten fruits and I want to destroy people's lives and I want to act stupid about harming people." And I want to be as cold-hearted and as arrogant and as entitled as I want to feel, with no regard for anybody else. And with no remorse for how I destroy people's lives. I mean, think about that. Let's say I was the top dog on the world's biggest corporation. Would I sit there and go, "Ooh, baby, that's who I want. I want somebody who's a ruthless son of a bitch. Give me the woman that's willing to do sexual favors in order to get ahead. And give me a..." Think about that. Give me somebody that can, I mean, I could do a parody on the stuff as far as things go. I'm not going to bother doing that. All I'm getting at is, Well, Robert here said it or wrote it best when he said that psychopaths dupe people. I think that Robert here was probably saying that I don't know for sure what why Robert here said that, but I think that Robert here was basically saying not to blame yourself when you've been conned by a psychopath. And that I I like a lot of what Robert here has done. But I disagree with Robert here in saying that some sort of brain imaging or brain scan needs to be done in order to determine who a psychopath is. And the reason why I speak about that is because, like, look at the obvious. Psychopath would destroy lives. Just look at the number of lives that have been destroyed by a psychopath. I mean, people see it every day. Whether or not they're willing to go, oh, that's somebody whose life is being or has been destroyed by a psychopath or several psychopaths. Who have had no remorse for whose lives they destroy. There's many different personality disorders. I would read up on the different personality disorders and look at the characteristics and I think one of the biggest things to remember about what Robert Hare had talked or written about was the ties to banking. That psychopaths have. I forgot what exactly he said. Something like, if he wasn't so busy working with the prison population, then he would go after the ones on Wall Street. So, something along those lines. I forgot what exactly. What I'm getting at is that I think that was Robert Hare's way to try to warn people. And I would say that Robert Hare is factually accurate, but because every single stockbroker that I've ever dealt with has played some sort of head games on me, didn't include me in on any of the decisions, and basically used my personal identifiers and accounts that I didn't control, and intentionally harmed me, and did things like false notary acts when I had tears streaming down my eyes and other sorts of wicked shit. Well, one of them actually was psychopathically smirking at me, and I had to walk away from him. And that one didn't even disclose to me that his wife was a stockbroker. Which brings up my point that people oftentimes think that psychopaths are locked up in order to keep from harming people, and don't be deceived. I could go through and just point out the ones who have harmed me and how they didn't disclose different things to me, and how they took unfair advantage of me, and how I'm not gonna sit there and do that, but it's just like the one that gave me a drink that had poison in it. Oh well, that's somebody that's a stockbroker. Either a stockbroker or a broker. What I'm getting at is most definitely tied into the banking. Most definitely didn't say that when I was handed the drink that it had some sort of poison in it. Oh fuck no! Excuse my French. That one most definitely is a predator. He basically picked out who he was going to be getting married to, took advantage of that one. What was always putting her down. Yeah, I'm not saying that she was any angel by any means, but all I'm getting at is he basically he used her. And his mother is extremely psychopathic as well as narcissistic. Oh gosh. In fact, when I think back on who all was involved in this stuff, it's like, damn. It's like psychopaths hanging around psychopaths to normalize psychopathy. Narcissists hanging around narcissists to normalize narcissistic behaviors. I mean, it just. That's kind of like analogous to a heroin addict hanging around other heroin addicts to make it seem like being a heroin addict is normal.